All right, another Jeep, another day. I always seem to get these Jeeps with kind of cool or funny or historic stories, and this one is no exception. The guy who had this listed was very selective on who he wanted to sell this Jeep to. He read every single message he got, had it narrowed down to 10 people, messaged them, only 2 messaged him back, and it was between me and another guy, and he picked me. He vetted me and saw my Facebook Marketplace profile with all the stuff that I've sold and Jeeps I've restored, and he said that I'm exactly the type of person that he wanted this Jeep to go to. Ironically, he was driving it across country. This is a California Jeep, but he was driving it across country last year, and from California to somewhere over east, and the transfer case blew out in Wyoming, about 30 minutes from where the Jeep is now, where I live. So he got the transfer case replaced. They did the wrong transfer case, and he just said, you know what, I've got stuff to do back in California. I'm gonna fly back and get it shipped back. So he got the Jeep shipped back to California after a couple weeks. The guy's got the right transfer case in, installed it. He gets it, and it won't pass smog, the very high standards they have out there, because of a speed sensor short circuit issue or wiring issue or whatever. And I can tell somebody was trying to repair the wiring and just going, on and on, trying to fix and diagnose this. And this would not pass emissions at that point with the check engine light on, the gauge cluster, the odometer didn't work. So he was just done with it. And, I guess that he traveled a lot and he wanted something newer. I mean, these aren't the best highway cruisers, but yeah, so that's the story. He got the transfer case rebuilt, shipped back, wouldn't pass smog. So he was looking for somebody that would take care of it. And, he told me that the other people seemed okay, but the trust just wasn't there. So he trusted me, and I don't think he could have picked a better person to, take care of this Jeep and give it exactly what it needs. So from my understanding, this was a woman that lived in Southern California. It was her caretaker. She had a rather large house with a caretaker, and this was the caretaker's go-round vehicle for running her errands and stuff. He got it with, I think, 50 or 60,000 miles on it 8 years ago. It currently has 103,000 miles on it. It's a 1996 Cherokee Country, has the 231 transfer case, and of course the 4.0 inline 6 engine and the AW4 transmission. When I got this thing, it had so much mold. You can see right here that this was covered in the whole Jeep. So I went and I just washed it this morning, and under all that mold and mildew is some nice paint. I haven't even waxed it or clay barred it yet. Wheels have a little bit of pitting on them, but that's typical for these lace wheels. They are my favorite type of Cherokee wheels, so I plan to keep those on there. There's absolutely no rust, not even any signs of rust. I mean, look at those leaf springs. No rust whatsoever. Everything's intact in the exhaust. Only had a couple California vehicles, and I'm looking forward to working on this one and not breaking bolts and dealing with rust. Everything, all of the trim is in really good shape, which is rare. There is no window leaks. I just washed it. Usually you get a little leak in there. But yeah, the paint and everything is in good shape. Chrome is in okay shape. Hooked in there. Towing package. Unfortunately, this does not have the upcountry package. One of my last Cherokee Countries did. I thoroughly enjoyed that. What I love about this Jeep is it has those OEM fog lights that still work. Front end just looks so cool with those fog lights. Like I said, pretty clean under there. Recently had a water pump replacement. Previous owner did that, and I can tell it was leaking for a while. There's residue all under that undercarriage, and looks like someone installed those deer whiny whistler things that supposedly scare deer away. Yeah, it's quiet, smooth. It's one of those Jeeps where it's not a showpiece, and he told me that. He's like, this Jeep doesn't want to be a showpiece, so I'm not really gonna focus on getting it perfect. I'm gonna just daily drive it, you know, just try to enjoy this one instead of trying to restore it and sell it. And you know, I'm gonna try to actually, you can see all of that mold. Look at all of that just build up from years and years of not getting washed. I mean, it's crazy. Let's take a peek at the engine. It's that new water pump. Looks like it could use maybe, I don't know if that's fuel injector O-rings that's leaking or a valve cover. I don't see the blue valve cover that people usually, valve cover gasket that people usually use, so I'm assuming that a valve cover could be original. The fact that it still has those spark plug wire separators is amazing to me. Usually those snap off, so that makes me a little concerned that maybe those plug wires and the spark plugs and everything really need to be replaced, because you should be doing that every 50,000 miles. So I'm doubting it's original spark plugs and everything, but I don't see anything under here that's concerning whatsoever, which is rare, because normally I can find things right off the bat, you know, that I don't like. One thing, knew right away when he sent me pictures that this had rat or mice issues, and you can see droppings down here, and you can definitely smell that there's mice or rats nests in the HVAC system. Fortunately, not too concerned about that right now. Yeah, very quiet 4-liter. Very, very quiet. Somebody was writing on the side of that. I'll have to look into that and see what that's about. I would not be surprised if this engine's been rebuilt with how clean that block is. Usually they're not that clean. I don't know if that's just because it was from California, but I just wouldn't be surprised if it's been rebuilt. For some reason, it just feels like it. Oil pressure is really good on a mechanical gauge, and just, it's quiet. Frozen, just washed it. Interior, as expected, with 103,000 miles. Got some headliner stuff going on. Those are pretty easy. I think this would be number 8, number 7 for me. So we can get that done at some point. Manual operated seats. Has the OEM cup holder, power mirrors, and like I said, the 231 transfer case. What I like about the 96s is it uses that newer, updated shift bezel here. Ashtray. Hey. Original radios. This is what's cool, is it's original. You didn't change anything. Like I said, 103,000 miles. Look at that oil pressure at hot idle. And I did verify that with a mechanical gauge. Chrome is in great shape on all the handles. More of that mildew I'll have to scrape out of there. Original floor mats. Jack literature. Looks good back here. I wish it had those pockets. I always liked those. I think the fronts have them, but in the doors anyway. One thing I love is when I don't have to replace those stupid shocks. This liftgate is actually really heavy, and you don't realize it until those shocks go. This is a fiberglass lift gate, and it's actually really heavy, so I'm glad that somebody replaced both of those shocks because they're about 50 bucks a piece. Full-size spare, does not have the track lock rear differential. It did at one point have the rear cargo cover. As you can see, it had the mounts here. Unfortunately, it did not come with that either. Nice dash mat that I'm going to clean up and get into place at some point. Yeah, it's clean. I mean, look at that. Usually got a lot of corrosion going on there, and up here, usually pretty beat up, so. Just look at the rear end on that thing. It's so old school. What I love about these Cherokees is they started designing these things in the late 70s. And they actually, the first Cherokee rolled off the assembly line in 1983 as an 84 model. And they did not change much. They didn't change anything. If you're talking about little things, yeah, they changed little teeny things. But from 83 all the way up to 96, they didn't change much at all. Engine changed a little bit, but aesthetically and body-wise, this is so old school of a design that you could say that they pretty much started this in the late 70s, early 80s. So it's pretty cool to think, historically, this was the first compact SUV. I wouldn't say compact, but mid-size SUV is a better word for it. Got a little crack there. I honestly think that happened when it got shipped, because the pictures beforehand did not show that. Let's hop inside. Yeah, it does have those doors, pockets. I like that. Another thing I really like about these Jeeps is that buzzer. A lot of people hate it, but I like it. And what's cool about it is actually when you turn the key on, before you start it, if that buzzer is going and the door is shut, side door is shut here, and that buzzer is on, that means your fuel pump has turned on. So, that's cool. You don't see that in any cars nowadays. Wonder if the cruise control works. Haven't tested that. Did originally have that key fob. Don't know what happened to that. What I love about these 95, 96s is the seats are actually a tad bit wider and more comfortable. The pre-95s, they're so uncomfortable for me. So I'm really glad that this is a 96. And plus it's the last year. You got OBD2. You can plug in your scanner. Yeah. Everything works too. AC, heat, radio.
9294. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Please join us again next week for another edition of Discoveries in Health.
The lights all work, and you know, there's a little ring light around here, the light there. You know, like I said, the AC works. Power mirrors work. Got little lights here. Yeah, this thing's swanky. All right, that wraps up the 1996 Cherokee Country. Haven't done one thing besides the speed sensor and washing it today. I haven't done one thing to this Jeep. The weather here is just stopping me from, you know, getting started on the restoration, and really it doesn't need much. But yeah, so price wise, I got a steal on this Jeep. I paid $2,000 for the actual Jeep and $1,050 for shipping from California to Colorado. I could not be happier with that price. This is the cheapest Jeep Cherokee I've got in years. This price is 2007, 2008 price. I picked up a black 96 Sport with 40,000 miles on it for 3,500 bucks in Chicago back in 07, and it sat on the market for 2-3 months. So the price is just insane on this particular Jeep, and not complaining one bit. That's why I think I'm gonna hang on to this one. And you know, it's weird how I get these Jeeps, and some of them I want to hang on to, and I get attached to them, and I just feel that this Jeep is very happy with its current owner. So yeah, that's it. 1996 Cherokee Country with 103,000 miles on it.